California Real Estate Salesperson Exam Practice Test. Question 1. A newly licensed salesperson wants to run advertisements without naming a broker. How should that plan be evaluated for Clara in Fresno? Option A. Broker identity is needed only for commercial property. Option B. A phone number is enough if the salesperson uses a nickname. Option C. The salesperson may advertise alone if the price is under $755,000. Option D. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. The correct answer is option D. Advertising must properly identify the responsible broker as required by law. California advertising rules require proper license and responsible broker identification in many real estate ads. The rule is not limited to commercial property. A phone number or nickname does not provide the required license disclosure. A transaction price threshold does not remove identification requirements. Question 2. During a listing for a farm parcel in Anaheim, why must the broker put the seller's interests ahead of the broker's personal gain? Option A. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Option B. The buyer becomes the broker's principal automatically. Option C. Caveat emptor eliminates agency duties. Option D. Escrow instructions replace fiduciary duties. The correct answer is option A. Loyalty is a fiduciary duty owed to the principal. Loyalty requires an agent to place the principal's interests above the agent's competing interests. The buyer does not become the listing broker's principal merely by making an offer. Caveat emptor does not erase fiduciary obligations. Escrow instructions do not replace the agency relationship. Question 3. A licensee is buying a residential rental personally from Ethan. What disclosure issue is most important? Option A. The licensee may conceal the license if no commission is charged. Option B. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. Option C. The transaction must be conducted only by auction. Option D. A personal purchase cancels all disclosure duties. The correct answer is option B. The licensee must disclose the license status and personal interest when required. A licensee acting as a principal may need to disclose license status and personal interest to avoid misleading the other party. Charging no commission does not automatically remove disclosure obligations. An auction is not required merely because a licensee buys property. Personal involvement increases rather than eliminates the need for clear disclosure. Stressed about your California real estate exam? We can take California real estate exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. A tenant with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation for a service animal. How should a property manager evaluate it for Asha in San Diego? Option A. Approve it only if every other tenant votes yes. Option B. Charge any pet fee without reviewing the request. Option C. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. Option D. Reject it because all animals are legally pets. The correct answer is option C. Consider the request under fair housing accommodation rules. Fair housing rules may require reasonable accommodations for disability-related needs, including assistance animals. Tenant voting does not determine fair housing compliance. Automatic pet fees can violate accommodation principles if applied without proper review. An assistance animal is not treated the same as an ordinary pet for all purposes. Question 5. A listing agreement gives one broker the right to a commission no matter who produces the buyer. Which listing type is this for Darius in Bakersfield? Option A. Quitclaim listing. Option B. Open listing. Option C. Net lease. Option D. Exclusive right to sell listing. The correct answer is option D. Exclusive right to sell listing. An exclusive right to sell listing gives the broker commission rights if the property sells during the listing term under the agreement. A quitclaim deed transfers possible title interests and is not a listing agreement. An open listing allows multiple brokers and usually rewards only the procuring broker. A net lease is a rental arrangement, not a brokerage listing type. Question 6. How is community property generally relevant when spouses acquire California real estate during marriage for Fatima in Santa Barbara? Option A. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. Option B. It always belongs only to the spouse who signed the offer. Option C. It converts the property into federal land. Option D. It eliminates the need for escrow instructions. The correct answer is option A. It may create marital ownership rights depending on source of funds and title facts. California community property rules can affect ownership interests when spouses acquire property during marriage. Signature on an offer alone does not settle marital property rights. Community property does not turn private land into federal land. Escrow instructions are still needed to close and document the transaction. Question 7. A seller wants to transfer title with implied California covenants that the property was not previously conveyed by the grantor. Which deed is most associated with that promise for Hero in Oakland? Option A. Lease agreement. Option B. Grant deed. Option C. Reconveyance deed. Option D. Quitclaim deed. The correct answer is option B. Grant deed. A California grant deed includes certain implied covenants, including that the grantor has not previously conveyed the same estate. A lease gives possession rather than title ownership. A reconveyance releases a deed of trust after debt satisfaction. A quitclaim deed transfers whatever interest the grantor may have without the same implied covenants. Question 8. Why are priorations used at closing for items such as taxes or rent for Tanya in Santa Rosa? Option A. They convert a fixed minus rate loan to an adjustable loan. Option B. They remove the need for title insurance. Option C. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. Option D. They determine whether the deed is valid. The correct answer is option C. They allocate expenses or income between buyer and seller as of the closing date. Priorations fairly divide recurring expenses or income based on the parties' periods of ownership. Loan type is set by the financing documents. Title insurance addresses title risk, not expense allocation. A deed's validity depends on deed requirements rather than prioration math.
Are you looking for AccuPlacer exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access AccuPlacer exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get AccuPlacer exam answer key today.
Question 9. Why does a borrower review APR in a residential loan disclosure for NOAA in Palm Springs? Option A. APR is the same as property tax assessment. Option B. APR guarantees the home will appreciate. Option C. APR records the deed automatically. Option D. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. The correct answer is option D. APR reflects the cost of credit as an annual rate including certain finance charges. APR helps borrowers compare credit costs by expressing certain loan charges as an annualized rate. Property tax assessment is a separate public finance issue. Credit disclosures do not guarantee appreciation. Recording is handled through county records rather than APR. Question 10. How should trust fund records be treated in a brokerage handling multiple deposits for Jean in San Jose? Option A. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Option B. They are unnecessary if escrow eventually closes. Option C. They can be replaced by social media messages. Option D. They may be recreated from memory after a dispute. The correct answer is option A. They should clearly identify receipts, disbursements, balances, and parties entitled to the funds. Trust fund records should accurately track money held for others and support accountability. Closing escrow does not erase prior accounting obligations. Social media messages do not substitute for formal trust fund records. Memory is not a reliable record-keeping system. Question 11. Why should a broker avoid saying no defects when the broker has not verified all conditions for Maya in Stockton? Option A. The phrase automatically transfers title. Option B. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. Option C. Brokers may never discuss property condition at all. Option D. Only appraisers can speak in complete sentences. The correct answer is option B. Overstating condition can mislead buyers and create disclosure risk. A licensee should be careful not to make unsupported statements about property condition. Words about condition do not transfer title. Brokers can discuss known facts while avoiding misrepresentation. Appraisers do not have exclusive authority over all property descriptions. Question 12. A farm parcel has several recent comparable sales nearby. Which valuation approach is most likely emphasized? Option A, cost approach only. Option B, income approach only. Option C, sales comparison approach. Option D, subdivision public report method. The correct answer is option C, sales comparison approach. The sales comparison approach relies on comparable sales and is often emphasized for residential property. The cost approach estimates land value plus replacement or reproduction cost minus depreciation. The income approach focuses on income minus producing property. A public report is a subdivision disclosure process, not a valuation approach. Question 13. How many square feet are in 5 acre or acres of land? Option A, acres divided by 12 monthly payments. Option B, acres multiplied by the interest rate. Option C, acres multiplied by 5,280 square feet. Option D, acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. The correct answer is option D, acres multiplied by 43,560 square feet. 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet, so acreage is converted by multiplying by that number. Monthly payments are unrelated to land area. Interest rates do not convert acreage. 5,280 measures feet in a mile, not square feet in an acre. Question 14. A tenant transfers the entire remaining lease term to another person. What is that transfer usually called for Samir in Pasadena? Option A, assignment. Option B, quiet title. Option C, substitution of trustee. Option D, accretion. The correct answer is option A, assignment. An assignment typically transfers the tenant's entire remaining leasehold interest to another party. Quiet title is a court action to resolve title claims. Substitution of trustee relates to deeds of trust. Accretion is gradual land buildup by natural forces. Question 15. How can CC and RS affect a planned development home for Yara in Los Angeles? Option A. They replace all state fair housing laws. Option B. They create private restrictions on property use within the community. Option C. They guarantee the home has no defects. Option D. They set the federal funds rate. The correct answer is option B. They create private restrictions on property use within the community. Covenants, conditions, and restrictions are private controls that may limit use, improvements, or community obligations. Private rules cannot override fair housing law. CC and RS do not guarantee physical condition. Federal interest minus rate policy is unrelated to CC and RS. Question 16. Why should a licensee avoid giving technical cleanup advice for contaminated soil for Arjun in Long Beach? Option A. Cleanup advice is never important to buyers. Option B. Soil contamination is only a tax issue. Option C. Environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. Option D. Licensees are always licensed engineers. The correct answer is option C. Environmental remediation requires qualified expertise beyond ordinary brokerage practice. A real estate license does not make someone an environmental engineer or remediation expert. Cleanup issues can be very important to buyers and lenders. Contamination may involve health, legal, lending, and value concerns beyond taxes. Licensees are not automatically engineers. Question 17. What does an ad valorem property tax primarily depend on for Bianca in Chula Vista? Option A. Broker commission split. Option B. Number of open houses held. Option C. Color of the roof. Option D. Assessed value of the property. The correct answer is option D. Assessed value of the property. Ad valorem taxes are based on assessed value rather than marketing activity or cosmetic choices. Commission splits are private brokerage matters. Open houses do not set property tax basis. Roof color does not determine tax value by itself. Question 18. A team advertisement omits the responsible broker identity. What compliance risk does this raise for Marisol in Sacramento? Option A. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Option B. The listing automatically becomes an open listing. Option C. The deed becomes void immediately. Option D. The buyer receives a tax exemption. The correct answer is option A. The ad may fail required brokerage identification standards. Team and salesperson advertising must still comply with responsible broker identification requirements. Listing type is determined by agreement, not ad omission. A deed is not voided automatically by an advertisement. Tax exemptions are not created by advertising errors.
Stressed about your AccuPlacer exam? We can take AccuPlacer exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done.
Question 19. Why is continuing education required for California license renewal for Jamal and Irvine? Option A. It guarantees every transaction will close. Option B. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Option C. It allows licensees to ignore supervision. Option D. It replaces the original license examination. The correct answer is option B. It helps licensees stay current with law, ethics, agency, fair housing, and practice obligations. Continuing education supports ongoing competence and renewal compliance. Education cannot guarantee transaction outcomes. Supervision duties remain even after continuing education. The original licensing exam is not replaced retroactively. Question 20. Why is honesty on a license application important for Nora in Modesto? Option A. Honesty matters only after a first sale closes. Option B. Application answers are never reviewed. Option C. False or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. Option D. Only property managers must be truthful. The correct answer is option C. False or incomplete answers can affect license issuance or discipline. Applicants must be honest and truthful because the licensing process evaluates fitness and qualifications. The duty does not begin only after a sale. Applications are subject to review. Truthfulness applies broadly to license applicants and licensees. Question 21. Why might rental restrictions in HOA documents matter to an investor for Caleb in Fresno? Option A. They set the federal tax rate. Option B. They make title insurance illegal. Option C. They require the investor to become an appraiser. Option D. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. The correct answer is option D. They may limit leasing plans and affect expected income use. Rental limits can directly affect an investor's ability to lease the property and earn income. Federal tax rates are not set by HOA documents. Title insurance remains lawful and separate. Owning rental property does not require becoming an appraiser. Question 22. A tenant is wrongfully deprived of possession or essential use of a rental farm parcel. Which concept may be involved? Option A. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Option B. Deed reconveyance. Option C. Loan subordination. Option D. Accretion. The correct answer is option A. Constructive eviction or breach of quiet enjoyment depending on facts. Tenant remedies may arise when a landlord substantially interferes with possession or habitability. Reconveyance releases a deed of trust after payoff. Subordination changes lien priority. Accretion concerns natural land buildup. Question 23. How does a lot minus and minus block description identify a residential rental? Option A. By the tenant's security deposit. Option B. By reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Option C. By the borrower's credit score. Option D. By the broker's commission agreement. The correct answer is option B, by reference to a recorded subdivision map or plat. Lot minus and minus block descriptions rely on recorded subdivision maps to identify parcels. Security deposits are landlord minus tenant funds. Credit scores relate to financing. Commission agreements do not define parcel boundaries. Question 24. A borrower asks whether a prepayment penalty exists. Why is the answer important for Ivy in San Diego? Option A. It changes the property's zoning district. Option B. It determines whether the deed is valid. Option C. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. Option D. It gives the broker title to the property. The correct answer is option C. It can affect the cost of paying off or refinancing the loan early. Prepayment terms can materially affect a borrower's future financial flexibility. Zoning is a land minus use matter. Deed validity is separate from loan prepayment terms. A broker does not gain title because of a prepayment clause. Question 25. A buyer receives a closing credit from the seller. What is the main effect for Victor in Bakersfield? Option A. It changes the property into personal property. Option B. It voids all inspection reports. Option C. It transfers the seller's license to the buyer. Option D. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. The correct answer is option D. It reduces the buyer's cash needed at settlement subject to contract and loan rules. A seller credit can offset buyer closing costs or other agreed items within legal and lender limits. Property classification is not changed by a credit. Inspection reports remain relevant despite settlement credits. Real estate licenses are not transferred through credits.